Evil geniuses turn to ban. EHOME's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Evil geniuses turn to ban.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is time for playoff action here at the MDL event. We had to wait a little bit for it, but that makes it all that much sweeter here. I've been pumped all day, gods. I wore my Dota jacket. I even wore it in public. That's how confident I feel. Ooh, today's a great day. I'm looking forward to it here. We had to get out of a very hairy tiebreaker situation over in Group B. Everybody drawing against each other with the exception of Mineski. It was a hard trip for them. And then over in Group A, of course, we got to see the end where EHOME and LGD were just battling it out to see who could get that bye into semifinals. EHOME coming up a bit short, very hard fought. And now they're going to be squaring up against EG, who did come in third, of course, in Group A. Now the draft is underway. Of course, Mikado Guy going to be joined by Parker. Let's get into this draft and let's talk Dota. Oh yeah. So EHOME. First Faceless Void on the side of Evil Geniuses. They pick up the Vengeful Spirit, followed up with the Invoker here. This comes after EHOME, of course, banning out the, classic EG Lone Druid here, Bat Rider, of course, and EG getting rid of the Earth Spirit and the OD. EG, if they're not the OD themselves, they always seem to be prioritizing it as their first band, and then we'll always follow it up with the Sumail Invoker. After glancing over their recent draft history, this is seeming pretty repetitive here for EG.
It's interesting because there's some heroes that all the teams at MDL are like really gunning for, the OD being one of them, the Invoker another. Then there's some which it's like the Western teams prefer more. If you look at Lone Druid, then there's heroes like Faceless Void, which is the Chinese teams all want to be first picking the Faceless Void. So Witch Doctor, another example of a hero that it's mostly the kind of Chinese teams prioritizing. So there is this kind of clear, not so much difference in playstyles, but like hero preferences. I think every team has a very unique playstyle. Like I don't think you can say, the Western teams play similarly, the Chinese teams play similarly, but it's interesting to see where they go from here.
Definitely learned that when I was doing the Chinese qualifier, to see these teams still put a lot of priority in like the first pick Darkseers and even Spirit Breakers. I thought I was being taken back a bit of a page, and when we didn't see a lot, like you said, the Lone Druids still flirting around with like Death Prophet. I thought Death Prophet was something they weren't good with anymore, but then not too long ago we saw Super play it very, very well for VG Gaming, and look where they ended up. They got their free bye in the semifinals, so here we go. I can't help but feel like I have an early inkling this may be a Lycan game for EG, just based on recent trend. They really like to do with the, Quas Exort Invoker, Hefty Push kind of a lineup here.
And EG chose Radiant, so I think when you go back like to old school PPD, like the whole TI4 thing, when they're on Radiant, they like to push. They're on Dire, they like to prioritize Roshan. That's kind of like, at least as a general idea, one of the kind of core concept of playing either side. Because if you're on the Radiant side, you want to be able to push down towers fast so you can get map control and prevent your opponents from taking advantage of the Roshan advantage they get. So like a Lycan type pick works very well with that. You've got Invoker, Venge, two great pushing heroes already with the Forward Spirit build. The Venge can be played as a core or as a support. Has the Aura, has the Howl, great pushing capability. So I think EG do have that kind of idea in their mind going into this draft. They're now banning out an AA, so healing type heroes are going to be
maybe.
Yeah, Jug's
I don't know if you put so much into the ward priority, but yeah, other healing heroes.
Jug, Dazzle. I think at the start of the new patch, PPD was still first picking Dazzle, so he still values the hero quite highly. And that was following a Chen ban, so they're at least planning on picking some kind of healing hero, I imagine. At the same time, EHOME just love AA, so even if you don't have healing heroes, sometimes you'll see Lanham playing the Ancient Apparition regardless.
Okay, Night Stalker coming out. EHOME still feel like the map control and obviously the site, especially if you got like a Faceless Void in the pocket who's looking to kind of set up the show for your team. And we already fantastic synergy a la TI4 between the Faceless Void and Witch Doctor, and if you happen to not really have the proper vision, you may miss
just the
game-winning
Death Prophet. I
opportunities.
mean, you mentioned the hero.
5
It definitely
seconds
fits the
remaining.
EHOME draft.
That's true. Or the other thing, a good late game core we've been seeing a lot of these Chinese teams reach for,
Reserve
especially is the
time.
Terrorblade, and could, you know, maybe go toe-to-toe with the push of EG.
It's hard to know what EHOME are going to do because today's the first day they're playing with CTY. They didn't have him yesterday. They played
Yep.
majority of their group stage matches without like their kind of quintessential player who often in some ways defines their playstyle with his aggression and with like be it his crazy item builds or just his style in general. So he's such a key play for EHOME, and we've only seen them play today with him that it's hard to even like look at their drafts and games yesterday and say this is what EHOME's all about.
He's still playing very CTY, I noticed as well, picking up that AM, and his itemization is always something just quite the spectacle in itself, but then when you really have to think about it in a different perspective, he knows what he's doing. He knows the hero, it knows its limitations, understands like I'm not going to be engaging a lot of fights, going Midas, baby. And I love the AC pickup he had in that game against the Terrorblade too. Unfortunately, this came a bit short.
It's a really good attitude and approach to have to Dota, like as a young player, that you don't just have to follow the cookie cutter build. You can kind of add your own flair and kind of rethink, like, yeah, people have been doing this AM build for the last 3 or 4 years, but why can't this work? Why not do something else? Like, that has its own kind of viabilities. It's faster farming, you push out waves faster, you have less sustain, you don't have like the HP regen that Vlad's provides, but it works.
I mean, I don't know how next level I'm going here, but maybe even goes off your opponents because they're like, oh, typically by now this guy is Manta timing, and then he's like, wait, well, he has a Hyperstone. What's happening here? You know, or he's a Midas. What's going on? And that could just kind of throw them off a bit, and next thing you know, they're questioning it, thinking a bit too hard, overthinking it maybe a bit, or maybe they get forced in a situation where they're like, hey, he's got a Midas or this, we got to punish him for it, and next thing you know, they might be baited into a trap. So, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, could change the game up quite a bit. A lot of thinking here from EG. They're really starting to dip into the reserve time. This comes after a ban on Zeus. Definitely highly favored duo Faceless Void and Zeus, so not really surprised to see that one taken out of the picture. Or maybe they're thinking heavy illusion heroes. We don't see a lot of PL, but hell, maybe even EG might consider a swing at Terrorblade, let's say.
Terrorblade's been seeing a huge resurgence just looking at MDL alone. So I think a hero we're going to keep seeing more of. Secret Stat picking it for Envy. All the Chinese teams, EHOME, LGD, have been running it for some time now. So I think teams like EG with Artesia on their team will happily start playing Terrorblade. It's something I don't even feel like he has to practice a whole lot to kind of put into his arsenal. But
my goodness. EG kind of taking a bit of step back.
I've seen Tusk in a bit of a while.
We saw Complexity pick it up a bit earlier. It didn't work out for them in the matchup against Secret. But yeah, ever since his, you know, what was it, 6.85 Glory Days, first pick, first ban, in the hands of OG at the major, Crit definitely showed the hero's potential. I don't know if what do you think? Do you think it's just teams have one of these following things? You know, have they forgotten about it a bit? Not really fitting with the meta as it is right now? Why is it we're not seeing as much Tusk anymore as we used to?
I think we've seen a few other supports kind of fill a few of his niches. One of the big ones being able to like save a teammate, the snowball save, which is Oracle's now come into play. So it's like, well, Oracle has a lot of other kind of nice utility aspects, the purge, the ultimate to save a teammate. He's got the healing aspect. So I think if you're drafting something like an Oracle, maybe you're thinking, well, there's no point getting the Tusk because you're not going to get the same value out of the snowball save. So
plus, someone like Earth Spirit coming in also offers a lot of the same flavor profile, if you will, like a Tusk, hefty initiation, great lockdown, and great team fight. So
it's less that I think Tusk got a lot weaker, and more that these other options that were kind of right now perhaps looking a bit better are kind of being played with. So
fair enough. EHOME in the meantime grab up a Viper, one of the few lane dominators that can hold their own against the vicious Invoker, and then EG followed up with the Universe Arcseer, a classic. Once that he had named that he doesn't really care for the hero, but when you need to play it and it gets the job done, he'll step up.
Oh yeah. I think something they know is, I mean, PPD talked a bit about this when describing EHOME and how they're going to play the new patch. They love to go for these more like 5-man type lineups where they hit this mid-game timing, they 5-man and they just push high ground, win the game. Like they were one of the teams who played more Dragon Knight than anyone on the 6.85 patch, and they just 5-man with it, took down all your towers, took control of the map, took Roshan, won the game. So that's kind of what they're doing with the Viper. Void, maybe slightly less so, but I imagine I hear like a Terrorblade could come to play, something that's going to push in 5-man. A Gyrocopter for CTY has been another common go-to, but They got
Evil
Morphling for now, so
geniuses turn
more
to
high carry.
ban.
And that's something we see a lot from the Eastern teams and not so much from the Western teams. I got
Yeah.
a serious glass full of Morphling
Have
during the
have
Chinese
any of the
qualifier.
Western teams played Morphling that you've seen? I don't think any Secret or EG games.
Secret
unless,
has like 2 drafts right now, so Morphling's not in
Yeah.
them.
Lone Druid Spectre or
Yeah.
Terrorblade and
5 seconds.
Yeah, maybe an Ember, but like
Yeah.
no Morphling there. No, I'm not thinking. I mean,
Unless
there's got to be
Complexities
something maybe worth
picked
it.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I don't-
but
Reserve
not as much
time.
anymore. Not since what offlane Morphling
Yeah.
was a big thing.
Once upon a time.
Still can't help but
Turn to
feel like,
ban.
do you think even with what EHOME has already drafted, do you think EG could still consider something like a Lycan? They have that nice little Ion Shell Wolf thing going a bit. Still
Ooh,
have
yeah.
the push we were talking about, but is there anything that could, be a bit of a trouble for Lycan
10
on EHOME side, or
seconds
do you think
remaining.
possibly still a go?
I think Void will
5
get a lot out of the
seconds
lane
remaining.
if it's like a Lycan plus Venge lane. They don't really zone him out or bully him, but it's a very fast tempo. Well, they're not going to have a
Evil
Lycan. It'd be very,
geniuses
very
turn
fast
to
tempo. They'd
pick.
be able to pressure towers a lot and perhaps beat EHOME before their draft comes online. So
So what else is there at the ready that kind of fills the shoes of a? I mean, I don't know. RT's play like Slark a whole lot. Maybe is a Spectre too
An-
bold?
Anti-Mage was like the classic
Oh yeah.
hero to run against Morphling.
They're
They're going to go
do
for
the
more
Terror
push.
Blade.
Terrorblade. Wow. Okay.
Everyone's going to start playing Terrorblade.
Have they played it yet? Like
Not in
it's-
any games I've seen.
wow. Okay. Well, this is game number 1. EG pulling out the Terrorblade here. I'm sure Ortiz knows what he's doing with it, and then Lanham Earthshaker. Hello.
Classic.
Classic. This is going to be an
Absolutely.
exciting game number 1.
Yeah, and they did not hesitate with the Shaker pick. And they probably knew going to that last pick there was like 2 or 3 options.
Mhm.
EG's either pick Anti-Mage or they're going to pick Terrorblade. The one big thing EHOME was kind of lacking, I feel, was catch. Right now, their initiation is purely the Chronosphere, which you want to save for a big team fight. If there's one hero solo split pushing, be it an Invoker or a Terrorblade, and you want to catch and pick him off, you have nothing really. So their 5th pick had to be something like either a Lion type hero or Shaker to give them that ability to catch and punish any split push coming out from a Terrorblade Invoker type hero.
10
So
seconds
now that we
remaining.
see the 5-man spread across both teams here,
5
is it
seconds
more on
remaining.
Evil Geniuses to kind of get ball rolling here? Or, otherwise have a CTY Morphling on our hands into the late game? I don't
Yeah.
know. Terrorblade versus Morphling,
It's
both
Morphling
near critical mass. Who takes it in a
Prepare
death
for
match?
battle.
It's Morphling as a whole can dish out more burst damage. Terrorblade's very reliant on having Metamorph up, which is where Morphling doesn't really have that downtime built around one of his spells. So I slightly prefer the Morphling when you get to the super late game. He's got replicates, he's super mobile all around the map. I think in general, I like the Morphling more. It's always going to come around more to the supporting cast, what they can provide. Invoker in late game is insane. Darkseer as well. Like you're making Morphling replicates, so I don't feel like the Morphling with the Void, it's kind of hard. You have to position your Chronosphere incredibly well if you want your Morphling to be able to attack heroes inside the Chronosphere because of his limited range. So that makes it, I think, a lot harder for EHOME to execute team fights in the game, whereas for EG, your Darkseer just needs to hit a vacuum wall. Terrorblade's always going to be able to hit heroes when he's got Metamorph up. Invoker's always going to be able to get off spells with just like a Blink Dagger, Ocarina, Axe, Hex, yada yada. Like late game, I slightly prefer EG's lineup. I think it's a lot easier to execute and play around.
Yeah,
But
I can't help but feel like even if, let's say, into the late game, EG are kind of actually not doing so well, let's say, they have tremendous high ground defense to work with the benefit of Darkseer, and EHOME's high ground sieging can be a bit wishy-washy, unless, like, we see a low ground siege Viper. You already mentioned Morphling's attack range is just so limited as it is,
30
so
seconds
it makes it a
to
bit
battle.
difficult for him to kind of get in at the right moment.
yeah, I can see this game kind of swinging back and forth. Like early game being slightly better for EG, while EHOME wait to get some of their level 6s and just items like Morphling's a hero that's not going to be able to get too involved or often much until he hits that like Lincoln's plus E-Blade timing, or at least Lincoln's plus 1 item. Viper needs like a mech at least before he can start grouping up, and you need the Death Ward give you damage in the Chronosphere, so it's going to start off EG's kind of favored. The mid game timing will be good for EHOME, and then if it gets to the late game, it looks good for EG.
EG need to contest this, otherwise it's 2 runes going the way of EHOME, and they are going to be able to get it both. This was all set up from a nice Fear block from Lanham, and Fear, who commits in to contest the rune, ends up losing his own life. Old chicken, gonna be picking up the first blood on his Viper. Ooh, could not ask for a better start for EHOME there.
Fantastic vision, just blocking off EG's ability to come in and contest that. And Level 1 Invoker, like, they're actually normally pretty good at level 1 fights with Iron Shell, but he doesn't have any like good candidates to put the Iron Shell on particularly. You're snowballing into a very tough spot, like Witch Doctor cast, Waveform really good.
Yeah.
The Viper Poison attack, it was just a really hard fight for EG to take. They were just, I guess, hoping EHOME weren't going to be there.
And now quick boots seem to be rolling out for Old Chicken, but picks him up now, and things can get a bit hairy here for little Sumail. The benefit, though, it looks like Universe is going to be farming up the side camp there. It's a very difficult lane for him to go up against, but is going to be able to work with that camp in the meantime. But it's a free lane for the Morphling, and we'll have to see what kind of setup potential they're going to have on the bottom. It's a Faceless Void. Of course, we know his Time Walk kind of makes him seem almost indestructible at times, but they do have the lockdown potential. It's a very short range Time Walk. A nice blocking shard, a follow-up of the Magic Missile, and he wouldn't be able to get away.
Yeah, with 3 heroes there, it's something where EG can definitely pose kill threat, but EG, when they have these defensive trial lanes, they're always about the pulls, the stacks. They're going to look to guarantee getting some support and farm on their support heroes.
Look at 11, though. He's having to walk
Yeah.
up and smack Arteezy in the face.
Is he actually going to look for another bash here? He's thinking about it.
Time dilation, mind you, is going to be a huge factor for EHOME in this game.
Yeah.
Against heroes like Invoker, oh, it's going to be just rough. I mean, does Invoker need to consider getting a BKB even this game just to deal with it, or just all on positioning and getting away from the frickin' Void?
I think he'll need a BKB eventually.
Yeah.
Considering you're against, if Morphling goes for the Ethereal Blade, BKB becomes essential for Sumail. And even without it, you're against Earthshaker as well. There's Witch Doctor cast, Maledict. There's a lot of annoying things for him to deal with, so it's like one of those 3rd or 4th items. You get into the late game, you just need to get a BKB if you're on EG's side. Same for the Terrorblade.
Lanham has been very crafty at being able to kind of... He's been trying to stay off the radar, but he is moving around right now under a ward, set from EG. Sumail, who's way out of position, sees this coming. Look at that, just walks in, takes the obs, has a haste, so he's going to use it to kind of intel. And look at that, he even steals the Cedar Creep. See you later. Run away from Sumail. Man, Lanham is just feeling this game already.
He realizes Invoker's not showing mid. Well, they probably know where I am with a rune, so he's just going to run right through the mid lane, show himself, and just go scout himself. So he finds where the Invoker is, steals a neutral creep. Just good kind of heads up play coming out from him. And the early game CS looking really good for EHOME right now in all 3 lanes.
Yeah, 16 and 7 for the Viper. Bottom lane, fissure setup from Mr. Lanham. He's back on action once more, and they're looking to Trailblaze right up to Arteezy. It's some casual harassment, not going to be enough to lock him down and take him out.
Yeah, they have too much kind of physical damage, and against Terrorblade, ooh, killing the Viper. So while EHOME rotate their supports bottom, EG send theirs mid, and they actually get the kill. But the big thing with Terrorblade is he's got incredible armor, and with the poor man's shield, physical damage is just like something you can't do to Terrorblade in the early game. So with the Shaker Witch Doctor, they just didn't have what it takes to bring him down.
Great gank and movement. That salvages the mid lane for Sumail. And now they take the rotation to the top lane, where CTY has kind of had free will here at 25 and 10 CS, sitting at the top right now. They're coming in from behind. There's the wave. He's reserving the waveform as the snowball comes out. Are they going to look to fight this out of the tower? They have a 3-on-1, so why not? And they begin to make move with the help of the Iron Shell and some right clicks. It look they may have enough to kind of force him down, and there he will finally drop, making him work for it quite a bit. But EG will be able to pick up another kill and push ahead 2-1.
Yeah, great movement from EG. The support's finding the kill mid, and then recognizing that EHOME sent their supports bottom, which had to have been a TP from the Witch Doctor, I imagine. So they're like, okay, Witch Doctor's bottom, he can't get back top, let's go kill Morphling. You've got Snowball to chase him up to the waveform, so...
But now we're seeing
really nice move.
Terrorblade not a part of the bottom lane. In fact, it looks like the bottom lane is going to be sacked in the meantime for EG. He's off doing the jungle right now, and
yeah,
it's
just like a lane where he can't find farm, and Terrorblade, he needs somewhere to go to get himself some farm, so he'll just go the mid lane if he has to.
I don't think you're going to be getting that Viper. He is hiding under that tower. Very safe positioning from him, and this guy is going to get scary. Old 11 now has second most CS at 26 and 4. Has just picked up a tier 1 power. He's had all he could ask for in this bottom lane, and he's getting pretty close to his level 6. Now, when he does get it, going right for the chrono, I assume. Does he put it right to work? Does they have enough potential on their team without a Witch Doctor ward yet to get something done with the chrono, or can he take it safe and enjoy this lane while he's got it?
He can if he's got the right heroes around him. If you're trying to kill someone kind of harder to kill like an Invoker, you need like a Viper there with you. Or you can go maybe to kill the Darkseer with a waveform follow, providing some damage. But he needs some extra source of damage from at least one hero, maybe even two, depending on who he goes in for.
Kaka not getting a fortunate bounce there to try to get the jump onto Sumail, but he is still flirting around what looks like Arteezy's terribly, but mid lane is where we're seeing Old Chicken now have to commit. Do they have the vision? Is someone about to roll through? Maybe with vision? No?
Uphill misses.
Yeah.
He had at least one.
Close.
Nice little attempted play there with the Sentry Ward.
They are getting all up in the face of Arteezy right now, puzzling a bit, but now Kaka's gonna get locked down and the Sunstrike will come through. Mail will pick that one, and they're looking for more blood. This shard block is not going to quite be there, and that's the first chrono of the game. And then look at the dish it onto Arteezy, and they certainly have the damage. That dilation proving to be a bit of a headache right now for Fear. He's not going to be able to make it away, but looks to retreat south. Will end up going down. PPD is going to be able to TP away from the trouble, but EHOME claimed the lives of 2 as 11 helps turn the tide with a beautiful interception.
You kind of said it. As soon as he gets that Chronosphere up, he wants to use it, and he finds the perfect opportunity to do so. And even with EG kind of finding a kill or two, like they found the supports to rotate mid then to top, the CS still tells a very one-sided story and focusing on just 19 CS, and the top 3 farmers all fairly considerably on the EHOME side. It's not like they're just farming all 3 lanes, but they've got a big CS lead in all 3 lanes, so very good early game for EHOME, and that's something EG have to be a little bit concerned about.
It doesn't feel like EHOME have a lineup that needs to get off to a hot start. I mean, if they're breaking even or doing better, it feels like they would be happy. And they're looking for 11 now. He's still confident in this bottom lane, but he is not immortal, my friend. And eventually, it comes to catch up with them. EG get a nice little get going, and we'll be able to pick him off at the bottom. But look at this, Lanham, a watchful eye over Sumail right now. Help is close in Old Chicken, but not quite close enough. And even Kaka thinking about sweeping on through here. Will Sumail hang around long enough?
He's trying to like
thinking about it. Oh, we got blocked in. Good setup from Lanham. He gets out in front. Sumail's trying to make it to the rest of his team. I see PPD close by, but is he going to be able to make it there? They finally get past the fissure, and now the coconut comes out. I don't think they're going to be able to save Sumail. Maybe he goes for a valiant deny. Nah, it's not going to be there. Lanham's going to catch him with the help of a totem, and now he is on pursuit. Looking to get PPD, and they still have a fissure, I believe. Is it almost got a mana for it? He's going in there like he's got business to take care of. He's got fissure. And, well, as they look through the trees, Arteezy is out of there.
That was some sick acting coming out from Old Chicken in the mid lane. Because Shaker sees the Invoker, but if your Viper runs straight for him past the creep wave, Invoker's like, oh, they're about to gank me, I'm gonna back off. So he like kept hitting the siege creep for a bit. Shaker then managed to kite him with the stuns perfectly. I think perhaps slightly misplacing the fissure because the Viper actually couldn't run up the ramp, but it was just this great little like mind game that the Viper was playing with the creep wave and to kind of pretend he didn't have vision of the Invoker.
Snowball to mid lane for Chicken here. Fear. Is he getting over ambitious? And what a coconut from little Kaka right there. Locks him down in place. They're gonna be able to take down Fear. Good grab for EHOME. And yeah, I mean, it feels like EG just kind of getting caught off guard a bit. I know they're lacking a bit of vision in their own jungle. Maybe need to kind of set something up because EHOME are just really utilizing the map right now.
Lamb's been so good just roaming around on this Shaker. It's not a hero you can conventionally think of for being able to provide vision and make those. Like he just solo roamed into the enemy jungle and found the Invoker there. That's something you think like a Night Stalker might do or an Earth Spirit might do, but doing that on a Shaker. Impressive.
Here comes Levin. They were able to snipe down Kaka, but look at the response coming up from EHOME. Good setup with the Chrono. They're going to be able to quickly take down the Vengeful Spirit. After PPD goes down, they get Sumail. EHOME say, you take one, we'll take two. That's be twice now they've gotten this kind of a trade. They continue to get more and more. And mind you, Morphling has been farming at the top lane all this meanwhile. They want to get a hold of Universe, but he's got the Surge. He's able to retreat. EHOME all up in the space creation right now.
Oh, top lane, they're going on Terrorblade, it looks like.
Thinking about it here with the assistance of this Witch Doctor, but suddenly PPD comes from the dead. CTY is not quite fully morphed. Oh! Moves on in there. The mouth is going to get the last tick, but with the help of that waveform, they get it. And look at that, nice little smack. Like, that's right. I took down your core, and now I'm going to go for your tower. Man, EHOME looking really sharp already.
Yeah, and they're getting towers as well is the big thing now. It's not just that they're out-farming EG, they're taking over the map. They've warded up the Radiant jungle around the mid lane, taking them mid-tier 1 when those are difficult to take towers early on, and they're going to take the top tower as well. EG just don't have the best tower defense right now. We talked about how great their high ground defense is. That comes much later on. That comes with like the Darkseer having levels, having a Blink Dagger, having a mech. Like this is the early game just falling apart for EG.
Yeah, it looks like we're if we look a bit of vision, there's not much of it at all now for EG. So it feels like the steps that they want to take even to kind of move as a party and maybe kind of set up some sort of foundation for themselves is not really an option right now. And because of that means very limited farm options for someone like their Terrorblade, which is trying to be their insurance policy. He's stuck in jungle duty in the meantime, which his universe is also. So you got multiple jungle farmers happening here. Sumail's found a spot at the bottom lane, but it just feels like the food is very scarce right now for EG. And we got to see what the bounce back play is going to be. And what would you wager that bounce back play is for EG right now? It's not like they have the benefit of a Croto. And the vacuum wall isn't, you know, might have to be used more defensively here. If speaking of which, man, universe.
Yeah, I think they chain together a couple pickoffs. They're not really set to team fight until much later on with the Darkseer Evoker, so they want to try to just find pickoffs on lone heroes. But if EHOME maybe recognize that, that's where they just go for that classic EHOME 5-man around the map. And they've got such a good family. They're actually pretty good at sieging towers. With mech plus Vlads, they could actually 5-man. So EG, any hero who's not 5-manning, go and pick them off. Like, smoke up with Venge plus Tusk plus Terrorblade or something. Invoker can farm and just offer Sunstrike and look for those kills.
Viper is able to take down PPD here. Looks like they just crossed paths as PPD maybe was going out. He did plant a ward, so he had to sack his own life to get this extra bit of vision. Meanwhile, we saw that Faceless Void kind of, you know, just confidently striding in the lane, farming, and EG are looking at him like, what? We can't do anything to the guy.
He's ready for a Chronosphere.
He's just going to time leap away and get all of his life back. This has got to be frustrating right now.
He's causing all these problems. Viper's in the jungle causing problems while Morphling free farms, so there are certain problems for EG to solve, and I think the maybe biggest problem now we're seeing with their draft is they've got 3 heroes who need farm to come online. Darkseer's an offlane isn't a hero who can play selflessly. He can't just move around the map with level, like not like a clockwork. You get level 6, level 7, you say, look, I'm poor, we're not doing well, but I can roam and create space. Darkseer, if he's behind, he has to catch up through farming. Same for an Invoker, same for a Terrorblade. So EG, all 3 of their cores needing this farm to kind of catch up and get back into the game means a bad early game really sets them into this sort of impossible play from position.
I can't help but feel like the EG game plan was hopefully to have this Venge Tusk duo go out as like Bash Brothers almost, with the assistance of Sumail via Sunstrike, and continue to get a couple of picks that would eventually lead to bigger bounties, bigger farm, and being able to snowball forward and allow the Terror play to get the space. But that is happening on the other side of the field for EHOME right now. They have the better tools, the better farm. You know, of course, thanks to great setups early on, a nod to LANM for that, and we're seeing EHOME just,
It's so much to their early game.
Yeah.
Small things like getting both bounty runes and a first blood, that changes the dynamic of the entire game. If EG don't give up first blood and just split bounty runes one apiece, this game could have developed entirely differently. And the other player you mentioned, LANM on the Shaker, just making all the plays he did was just huge.
Arteezy, who was kind of hustling back towards the mid lane, gets caught out, makes it up the stairs. Thank goodness those are there now, but he's still in a lot of trouble as he is scouted out by Mr. 11 here. And time dilation fissure, he's going to be happy and confident to reserve the ulti. Arteezy, I'm sure, is not looking to, well, he doesn't even have the mana, of course. It's just a slow and painful death there for the Terrorblade. It's hard to start to think about what are the outs now for EG. This Tusk is getting to a point where he might be a bit irrelevant due to where his ionization is. You know, it's hard to fault him on that. It's just EHOME got so much at the start.
Yeah, and even now EHOME, they're grouped up all around the mid lane together. They're making sure that there's no opportunities for a pick-off. You've got all 5 heroes in mid lane, and if there's ever one hero who's not grouped up as 5, it's C2 on the Morphling, who is a hero you can't actually gank because he's got so many escapes. They don't have a silence to prevent him from morphing to strength. So the pickoffs I mentioned that EG needs to get to catch up, where are they?
Who are they?
I'm not really sure. Like, you look here, C2I says, oh, there's lanes to farm, I'll TP back, you guys stay grouped up as 4. And I don't think that's going to change for EHOME. I'd be very surprised if suddenly they split to different directions. You see, Darkseer's actually jungling the enemy jungle. He just TP's home now, but he was at the dire camp on the far right just because of how desperate they are to get farm right now.
Okay, 11 makes his move here for Sumail. Where's backup? Kaka thinks about going in, doesn't quite commit to death ward. PPD has to step in with the swap save, and well, it looks like his own life will be handed over for it.
And that's all PPD can do at this stage, is just use his life to help protect and secure farm for Invoker, for Terrorblade, secure wards on the map. Like, he's dying just to get wards down, but really that's like the best thing he can do given the terrible situation EG are in.
Down but not out is EG, but we'll have to see if it's going to be on more execution already. It looks like they got a hold of Fear. Forces snowballing closer, goes for the committed Walrus Punch, but now will be caught up with the Coconut, slowly right-click down while the time dilation there withers away. Meanwhile, though, they get a grab onto Universal. Chicken pelts him down. Now as they move forward, they're looking for more, which could be a quick to game-ending fight as Arteezy is getting quickly knocked apart. He goes down. Triple kill suddenly for Old Chicken. And the last survivor being PPD. Soon to go down as he quickly gets hustled around by 4. We could see the towel thrown in very soon from EG. This is an uncharacteristic, hard battle for them, and I don't know what the bounce back is going to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like look at EG's lamp and think, okay, it's worth playing this one out. They've got a great late game. If anything, they've got a slightly better late game, but getting there is just like, I don't know what the answer is. They can't leave their base. EHOME has complete control of the Radiant jungle, and they'll GG out. I think EG is looking at this like, we can't leave our base, we can't farm, we can't pick offs because of the nature of Morph with Escape, Void with Escape, Viper being tanky, EHOME are always
no
grouped.
Easy options.
They're grouped as 4, or they're grouped as 5. You can't kill Morphling. That's, what can we do? And yeah, they recognize game 1 is lost.
I mean, a lot of people say you should never call, GG at the first 5 minutes, and of course you should never call GG. Just the way the game is, there's been crazy throws all